That was not a sign. I just was really scratching my nose.
That was a code sign, mi gente. I wonder what it meant. Okay, do I believe in aliens? 100%. I feel like I'm not. Listen, I'm not ashamed to admit that I believe that there is so much life, and God knows how much. Only God knows how much type of life exists outside of us humans. I feel like if just on this tiny planet, I mean, we all have agreed that there's planets out there, that there are multiverses out there. Like at this point, we all kind of agree with the fact that we believe there's definitely otras planeta out there, right?
Multiverses, parallel universes.
So the way I see it is
otherverses.
that if in this planet there is so much life, and by life I'm not just saying us human life, like nature and its ecosystem has so much life in it, we probably can't even quantify it in our brains, most of us, right?
So much has yet to be discovered.
So much is always alive and in flow. So in mi mente, I'm like, if that exists all around me, it has to exist everywhere. There has to be other type of life forms on other places. Maybe some may look like us, maybe they do not. Who knows how extreme and how layered and how detailed all of this really is or isn't. Pero I've always have believed that in my whole being, and you know, maybe we'll find out one day that not only do they exist, but maybe they're us in a different form or in a different evolution or from a different time. You know, maybe we'll find out one day that there's way more connection than we'd realize, or maybe we'll find out one day that they actually do exist. They have zero, nothing to do with us. We don't know.
So many unknowns.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, there were times that people walked into our shop and they didn't feel like
Like a human?
they didn't feel human, to be honest. They did not feel human.
Yeah.
And
That's an interesting feeling. Do would you be able to isolate a particular feeling that made you feel like this doesn't feel right?
well, one little story that gave me a clue was I was in a little coffee shop that was near Botanical at that point and ordered something. The person in front of me, a kind, tall man, was ordering in front of me, and there was something in my mind that was like, ooh, alien. Don't know why I thought that. I've never been around a person and thought that. That's not like, I don't know, that's not something I obsess about. It's just,
You just felt it and it
Yeah.
just came to mind in that moment. Well, family, have any of you ever had a
but the story
situation like that?
continues.
Oh, there's more.
I go into the shop, and moments later, I attract this being to come to our little store. And I didn't love it because there was something about his presence that felt alien to me. And in every word, there was just his resonance. There was something I didn't understand. Well, he gave me a clue when he started talking. It was weird because sometimes people talk and they just volunteer information without you asking. So within like the first minute or so, it's just us chit-chatting and him learning about the shop. He says, oh, I channel beings from the Galactic Federation.
Ah, mira.
So it taught me, right? Like, well, the universe is always teaching us, but at that moment, when I thought you're having a ridiculous thought, cast it out. But the other aspect is I walked in completely clear, blank. You know, it wasn't like I'm in my shop. It wasn't like I'm having a metaphysical store. I'm just going with one purpose, to go get coffee. So that's the only thing that's in my mind. And then to stand next to someone, how many times you hear somebody talking, you really don't care. But there was just something
We
about
zone it out, yeah.
that particular resonance that was like, oh, alien. And true to form, as most humans do, we doubt ourselves. Because it was an alien thought for me.
And because we have been raised to believe that none of these things. It's so interesting, right? It's like you grow up and there's just certain topics that are always labeled taboo or no one wants to talk about, but it's everywhere, right? Like,
Everywhere.
por ejemplo, a big major one we can all relate to: sex. I don't care how strict you grew up, what strict household you grew up, there was always something sexual around you in some way, and maybe not right within the house, but outside of that, like it's in our face, but we don't want to talk about it, right? Same thing with things like even spirits, like so a topic that scares the heck out of so many people as well. They don't want to even imagine that that exists, but yet so many of us have walked around having had at least one experience where we at least wondered, could there be, was that, right, something that felt suspicious. And then obviously this one that we're talking about, aliens, other life forms, like it's another topic that has always been like laughed at, belittled, or like, come on, please, conspiracy theory, I believe in bedtime stories. But yet it's a conversation that's actually taking place all around the world. It's always in our face in some way, and especially now more than ever. And also another conversation that when you ask a lot of people, a lot more people are connected to this topic than they would like to admit, right? And by connection, I mean anything from they believe in it, to maybe they've had a moment, an experience that felt suspicious to them, to dreaming with some sort of other life forms, etc., etc. It can go deeper down the rabbit hole.
And then, I know some of you are already thinking, pero what are you talking about? Dreams are just dreams. Some are, and some are not. Some are a portal into another realm, a place where whatever you experienced, you kind of did.
Yeah.
You did, and sometimes it's just something you saw on TV that's influenced. Then there are times where you have a dream and without a doubt, just like there's been dreams around the subject matter that we're talking about that I've had, that I knew that it wasn't just a dream. It felt like we were taking on special visits with some of these space brothers. How far am I going to go into this subject?
I don't know, mi gente, we could go pretty far. I will say too, like, sometimes there's also just things that you question. For example, like, I've always had this, up until maybe several years back, I always had such a deep, deep fear about, even though I've always believed in other life forms and believe in it, I've also equally have always had so much fear around it. Like this one would love to be up in the woods.
Why did that have a little spice?
In the montañas, and then you know what she would do? When we would take a curve where it was completely pitch black, she would be like, look, Alex, what if all of a sudden in that clearing this huge ship just decloaks? I was like, lo jodimos.
It's almost like I'm ready for it to happen. We've experienced this so many times in dream time.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, were you always saying that because you were experiencing it? Was I so freaked out about the topic itself because we were experiencing it, or was this just all in our head?
Right, you never know. It could be a combination of all of the above.
Questions, right? But the I think the messaging, one of the messages we have for you, the community, is, it's not que I'm saying you have to agree with what we're saying or even like it, pero I just, my advice is always like, at least be open to hearing other perspectives or even stories or people's experiences on this topic.
Because where is this advanced technology coming from? How come
Right.
there seems to be technology that is moving up in the air? Where did we get it from? I don't know.
Yeah. All these mysterious things that have happened
All
on
these
Earth
mysterious
that
things.
no one can explain.
Yeah, and in December 2019, I believe it was 2019 or 2018, I would have to look back into my YouTube video because I did record it. I had a sighting of a unidentified flying ship. And it was not just lights, it was a full flying something in the air. It looked like the the length and width of a flying comb with like a weird MW. I can't even explain, just flying. It was very sleek. It reminded me of something that I would have seen out of like Star Trek or Star Wars. It felt ancient. There were no lights. The color to this was sort of like a brown. It was really silent. It looked like it was the length of maybe 3 airplanes long. I don't know. This is just me speculating, but I saw it. And then people are like, where did you see it? I'm like, I saw it in Brooklyn. Laughters. What do people usually do? They mock you. This is what happened. No one really took me serious. In fact, I've already gotten the 3 people I can even share the story with tired about my excitement that I saw this. But this was a once in a lifetime experience for some people. Many people, when they see something that is out of the ordinary, that was clearly not an airplane, but no one,
Yeah, you get ridiculed.
you get
And
ridiculed.
you shut down and you just don't talk about it.
You don't- right.
So imagine, if you will, for 1 minute, how many people you know right now. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are or your experiences have been, but imagine how many people right now that you know actually not only believe 100% that there's other life forms, but have had experiences or even visuals, but just would never share because they're going to be ridiculed, laughed at, or like, I believe, you know.
And to fill the story a little more, I did confirm that in December, from a producer who covers UFO sightings and is someone that also receives reports, like this is his particular niche, that there were sightings, reported sightings over Brooklyn in that month, as I had reported.
So what do you do with that? You
Doesn't make it true, it's just interesting, makes the story a little bit more intriguing.